Hello friends. Today, we are going to discuss the first sonnet of the collection of 154 sonnets composed by Shakespeare. Let's start with the first quatrain. Here it is. From fairest creatures we desire increase, that thereby beauty's rose might never die, but as the riper should by time decease, his tender air might bear his memory. In the first quatrain, Shakespeare introduces the theme of procreation and the idea that beauty should be passed on through future generations. Fairest creatures refers to the most beautiful people, from whom society expects increase of offspring, so that beauty, symbolized as beauty's rose, does not perish. Shakespeare suggests that although individuals age and die, their beauty can live on through their children, the tender heir who carries the memory of their parents' beauty. Now move to next quatrain. But thou, contracted to thine own bright eyes, feedst thy lights flame with self-substantial fuel, making a famine where abundance lies, thyself thy foe, to thy sweet self too cruel. Here, Shakespeare directly addresses the young man and accuses him of selfishness. Instead of sharing his beauty with the world by having children, the youth is contracted to thine own bright eyes, meaning he is self-absorbed, admiring his own reflection. The phrase feedst thy lights flame with self-substantial fuel conveys that he is sustaining his beauty only for himself, essentially wasting it. This selfishness creates a famine where abundance lies, hoarding beauty rather than allowing it to multiply. By refusing to share his beauty, the youth acts as his own enemy, thyself thy foe, and is too cruel to himself. Now see the third quatrain. Thou that art now the world's fresh ornament, and only herald to the gaudy spring, within thine own bud buryest thy content, and tender churl, muxent waste in niggarding. In this stanza, Shakespeare praises the youth's beauty, calling him the world's fresh ornament, meaning he is one of the world's brightest and most beautiful figures. The herald to the gaudy spring implies that he is like the first bloom of spring, a symbol of renewal and beauty. However, rather than allowing his beauty to blossom and bear fruit, he buryest thy content within thine own bud. By refusing to procreate, he is hoarding his beauty, wasting it in niggarding, being miserly or stingy with his beauty. Shakespeare likens this action to burying a treasure that should instead be shared with the world. Now we come to the final couplet. Pity the world, or else this glutton be, to eat the world's due, by the grave and thee. The closing couplet is a direct plea to the young man. Shakespeare urges him to pity the world by sharing his beauty through offspring. Otherwise, the poet warns, he will be a glutton, selfishly consuming what he owes to the world. If he chooses not to share his beauty, he will effectively eat the world's due, taking his beauty with him to the grave rather than leaving a legacy behind. Thus we can say that each line of this sonnet builds upon Shakespeare's central theme: beauty should be perpetuated, not wasted on self-absorption. The speaker urges the young man to see his beauty as a gift meant to be passed on, lest he rob the world by taking his beauty to the grave. In Sonnet 1, Shakespeare thus opens his sonnet sequence with a powerful argument for procreation as a means to preserve beauty against the ravages of time.